the greatest common factor. I'm not putting this on one line. Certainly the longest name, but not the longest strategy. So what is a greatest common factor? So a greatest common factor is really just a term that divides evenly by all the terms in your polynomial expression. And it is the greatest one. So let's take a look at 6x cubed minus 12x squared plus 18x. Now, certainly, I hope you can notice that all of these numbers are even numbers, so they all should divide evenly by 2. And 2 is a factor of this polynomial expression. However, it's not the greatest one. The greatest number that divides evenly by all 3 of these terms is the number 6. And I wrote something pretty quickly, but I also want you to notice the variables in each one of these terms. There's an x cubed, there's an x squared, and there's an x. And x is going to be the variable that divides evenly by each of these terms. And we talked about a strategy of how to decide what that is. We'll revisit that in a moment. But let's figure out what our new trinomial would be. So 6x times what gives me 6x cubed? X squared. 6x times what gives me a negative 12x squared? A negative 2x. And 6x times what gives me 18x? 6x times a positive 3 will give me my 18x. And that's really all greatest common factor is. It's looking for the largest term that will divide evenly by each of the terms in my polynomial expression. Now, sometimes you're going to have a whole slew of terms that are going to have a mix of numbers and variables. So how does this work? So you do it very similarly to the one above. It's just you have to examine multiple parts. So first we're going to examine the numbers. What is the largest number that divides evenly by each one of these? And I think it's just our small common factor of 2. Now we're going to go through the x's. We have an x squared, we have an x, and we have an x to the 4th. So we do have an x term common in all 3 of these. And the largest term that divides evenly is actually the smallest power. And that is a strategy for examining your variables. The term or the variable that's going to divide evenly by each one of the terms in your polynomial is always going to be the lowest power of whatever the variable is that you have. So looking at the y cubes, I have a y cube, I have a y5, and I have a y2. I'm going to choose the lowest exponent because that is going to be the one that divides evenly into each one of my other terms. So y squared is the lowest of my exponents. All right, now I just have to figure out my trinomial expression that it's being multiplied by. So 2 times 2 would give me 4. An x times an x would give me an x squared. A y squared times a y would give me a y cubed. Minus sign. 2 times 3 would give me 6. I already have an x, so I don't need to multiply that. I have 2y's times 3y's would give me 5y's. 2 times 6 would give me 12. X times x cubed. Oh, I ran out of room. And finally, oh, no, I didn't. Y squared times 1 would give me y squared. I don't need any more y's. So this is my final product. If I were to distribute 2xy squared by this trinomial, I would indeed get out this unfactored form.